Coach Matlock, the 2022 baseball schedule is now available. Ring that bell! Woo! The UTRGV Coaches Show starts now! Coach Matlock, I like this car on you.
Man, it is awesome. It's beautiful and it drives really nice.
Maybe we'll go get you one at the December to Remember sales event.
That's it. I'd love it.
But first, how about we record a Coach's Show?
Let's go do it.
Coming to you from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley, it's the UTRGV Coaches Show. I'm Jonah Goldberg. We're joined by UTRGV baseball head coach, Derek Matlock. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, big news recently for the UTRGV baseball team. Your 2022 schedule has come out. 56 games, about 26 of them at home. What can you tell us about your schedule this year?
Well, it's exciting just from the standpoint of playing in the new conference, basically, with all the new guys in Texas. It's nice to be able to be on buses in the state of Texas instead of flying all over the West Coast. And then you got the Texas game, of course, playing home and home against Texas is a great thrill since, they haven't been here for 51 years.
That is the big one. April 26th, 6:30 p.m., UTRGV Baseball Stadium, 920 North Sugar Road in Edinburgh. UTRGV is hosting Texas for the first time since 1971. Guarantee your seats right now by buying your season tickets at utrgvtickets.com, because you can bet your boots. Don't actually bet, that this game will be sold out. And the requests have already been off the rails. Season ticket sales are already going strong because everybody is so excited about the Longhorns coming to town.
No doubt we are too. It was a class act for Coach Pierce to do this since they haven't done it for so long. And we really appreciate him and the coaching staff. And we're just excited for the whole schedule. Houston going to Houston and all the other games, George Washington and Youngstown State coming in here. It's going to be exciting.
Now, you've hosted big opponents before. Last year, took 2 out of 3 from Baylor. You've had Oklahoma State come to town. You've had Kansas State. You had Texas Tech, then ranked the number 3 team in the nation, come to town. You also had Mississippi State, who just won College World Series, come to town. Yet there seems like there's something different about the fact that Texas is coming to town.
It seems that way. The Longhorns have a long history, in baseball and in everything, really. So I think that probably has a lot to do with it. But they're an outstanding program. I think this is some of the best teams he's had lately. I'm excited to see him play myself.
It's going to be that much sweeter when you beat them.
That'd be nice.
Just so you know, this program has defeated the number 1 team in the nation before in 1983, which it's actually intertwined with Texas. This is a great story. So at the end of the year, Wichita State was number 1 in the nation. They were supposed to play Texas. And this was going to be the final series before what was then called the district round. And which now would be, I don't know if you'd call it the regional or the super regional, because they didn't have 2 rounds back then.
Yeah, that's right.
But regardless, it was the ticket to the College World Series. Well, Texas decided to cancel the series, is what the story that I've been told. And then Wichita State was looking for a series. So they got on the phone with Coach Al Ogletree and said, hey, can you guys come up here? And we'll take care of your expenses. We need a 4-game series. So Legacy Institution Pan American heads up, and they take 3 out of 4 from number 1 Wichita State.
Jeez, in '83, huh?
Yeah, and that was the year that Pan Am won 64 games, program record, went to the regional round, and then they ran into the buzzsaw that was Texas. I think they won the College World Series that year.
Wow, that's a pretty good story. To beat the number 1 team in the country 3 out of 4, more or less 1 game, 3 out of 4 shows how good you really are.
And on the road, no less.
On the road.
So when Texas is number 1 in the country and you beat them on April 26th at UTRGV Baseball Stadium, it's still going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah, it'll be pretty exciting.
So obviously this is important for your program. How does it come together? Like you mentioned, Coach Pierce willing to come down. Like, Do you call him and say, hey, will you come down? Does he approach you? Like, how's this happen?
Well, Coach Pierce hadn't done the schedule for a while. Drew Bishop, their operations guy, had been doing the schedule, and he left. So he had called and said, hey, Coach, I don't see you on the schedule. I said, yeah, Drew said you guys were full. This will be the first time we're not playing there in a long time. He said, well, I have 4 open midweeks. And I was like, okay, well, give me the midweek dates. I'll help you out. I think if you help coaches like Baylor, he was caught without a game. Texas Tech was caught. We've kind of helped some people even when we went to Tech. I think over time, if you build relationships and you take care of coaches and of course, if your RPI is a little higher, then they know we have a beautiful ballpark and going to play in front of a big crowd. That's exciting for them as coaches. I think over time, we're slowly but surely getting those kind of guys to want to come down.
Well, you mentioned beautiful ballpark, and certainly the last few years, UTRGV Baseball Stadium has been getting facelift after facelift. I mean, it's almost unrecognizable from what it was when you just got here to what it is now with the walls, the corrals. I mean, tell us about just the evolution of that baseball stadium.
When you're in a program, you got to make improvements in all aspects of your program. So, of course, the facility is a big part of it. I think facility is what sells kids in recruiting. So having 8 party decks and 8 huge palm trees and cookers on those decks and selling those decks out, and the suites being sold out, 10 of them, and then the locker room redone. We'll just try to do something every year that improves the facility and helps with recruiting and also makes it a nice place to come watch a baseball game.
Now you mentioned the party decks, the corrals, they're out beyond the right field wall. What an amazing place to watch a game from, where you basically have your own slab, you've got your own tent, you've got your own grill, and you can just bring your meat, bring your fish, whatever it is, you put on a grill, and you can make your own food and make us folks in the press box very jealous.
No doubt. I think it's exciting for those families. You get 10 people per deck, and to be with your buddies or your family and get to cook and drink some water and some wine, I guess. Uh-huh. And then, of course, enjoy a good baseball game from the right field view. So it's pretty exciting.
When you've got pitchers like you do, I expect you to keep them in the ballpark. And I think one of the most exciting things for me this year was at student athlete orientation at the beginning of the year. All the student athletes walk into the UTRGV Fieldhouse, and I'm kind of scanning to see who's back. And I kind of know who's back, right? Because I update the rosters on the website. Yet until I see some of them, it's different, right? Seeing a name on a piece of paper on a website versus seeing a face. And when Kevin Stevens walked through the door, the first thought in my mind was, he's back, we're winning the WAC.
That's a good thought. He's an outstanding competitor. Probably been one of our best Friday night starters since I've been here. He's a leader, he's physical, he's competitive, and he's turned down, money 2 years in a row to come back and finish his degree. And that's what's the most important thing is when you talk about college athletics, is the kids getting the degrees. And so we're fired up, though. He's a pace setter. He can start the series with a really good outing and really get us off to a good start. So we're fired up to have him back.
He's a walking no-hitter threat. He's taken no-hitters deep into games multiple times throughout his career. I love watching him pitch, but I think one of the most exciting things for me was, you think back to May. So UTRGV played for a WAC championship in May, made it all the way to the finals of the WAC tournament, and there was Kevin Stevens starting, what was it, 2 days, 3 days rest?
2 days rest.
And he was dominant. Like, the first couple of pitches, you're like, okay. But then he's just striking out guys left and right.
Well, he was, he's so competitive, and we had told him, I told the staff, if we keep climbing back in this thing, get to the finals, it's going to be all hands on deck. And I looked at Kevin, hey, we've got to get off to a good start. If it's a first inning, just go out there and get us off to a good start. He hadn't had a walk in 30 innings, and he had a walk and a hit batter because, he's tired coming off 100-something pitches 2 days before. And then he got out of that mess, and then he had dominant second inning, third, and I think the coaching staff was like, Coach, you're still taking him out there? And I was like, nah, that's about all we're going to do to him. That's enough. That was pretty tough on him as it was. He's such a great competitor. He would have kept going, no doubt, but in the long scheme of things, it's not worth taking a chance to hurt a kid's arm. But man, he competed on 2 days rest and had 3 great innings to get us off to a good start.
I think he's going to be the WAC Pitcher of the Year. I'm calling it right now. Here in December, WAC Pitcher of the Year come May.
He's got a great opportunity. He was close. The 3 guys in the league that were the best, those 2 guys are pro now. But we're going in with a lot of new teams, and they've got a lot of great pitchers at the Texas schools. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. I'm excited for him.
That's one of the interesting things about your schedule, with the exception of 3 games at New Mexico State, which is technically non-conference because there's no cross-divisional play this year in the WAC. You're in Texas, the entire schedule. You don't even have to get on a plane.
I know one thing about it since I've been here, it's rough. We can't ever get back on Sunday really after a Sunday game of end of a series. We usually have to stay Monday and then get back in Monday evening. We never get a break, and this is going to be exciting. We're going to finish the game on Sunday in Texas, get on our bus, get a meal, and come home and be home Sunday night. It may be late, but we're going to be home all Monday to have a day off. That's something I think is important for kids to rest, and that's something that's hard to do when you're going all over the West Coast.
Stephen F. Austin, Lamar, Abilene Christian, Sam Houston, Tarleton, the teams you'll be playing in conference play, non-conference play. You obviously got Texas A&M Corpus Christi for your South Texas Showdown presented by Navy Army Community Credit Union, but for series, you're either at home or you go to Houston. And I mean, it makes it very easy. And of course, Houston is a great team to be able to play, and you actually go there twice. That's
right. No, they're an outstanding baseball team, got an outstanding facility. So we're excited just to stay in Texas and compete against Texas. I think it helps in recruiting to be in Texas. When you're playing outside of Texas, the whole conference like we were before, you don't really get your name out there in Texas for recruiting, but now we'll be in Texas a lot, so we're excited.
So tell us a little bit about fall ball. How was your team looking?
I think we were really outstanding on offense. We have some outstanding transfers. Brandon Pimentel from Mississippi State just won a national championship. Outstanding offensive player, can play first, outfield. You go to Brian Sturgis, a transfer from Texas A&M that played at UTSA and was an all-conference player. He's got a ton of power, great leadership. It's exciting. I mean, it's an older team. When you graduate as many old guys as we did, we reloaded with transfers and we're old again, but we were really offensive. I don't think I've seen us hit as many balls out of the ballpark in the fall as we did this fall. We have a lot of power. I think the question mark is going to be the defense in the outfield. We lost some outstanding ones with Grubbs and Alexander, but I think they're going to be offensive out there. We got to work hard at the defensive part. We've got a lot of catchers, and our infielders are outstanding. With Mondesi from New York playing third, he may be one of the most defensive third basemen I think I've ever seen. Outstanding arm, outstanding glove. We had a good one too a couple years ago, Tyler Torres. I think he's got a chance to be as good as Tyler Torres. So it's an exciting ball club, man. The pitching's all back. We had some tough luck with Balderrama and Davis having some pretty tore up elbows the last half of the year. They fought through some stuff, but they're both coming in here healthy now. And then we've got some ads with Verdugo, a right-hander from California, transferred from UNLV. Outstanding 90-92 mile-an-hour guy with 3-pitch mix. And Derek Cervantes, the way he finished the year as a starter, really excited us. So when you look at it on paper and after watching the fall, you have opportunity there to win a championship. Now we've got to stay healthy and we've got to get better every day. This early spring is going to be really big for pitch counts and guys fighting and jockeying to get in there and win a spot. And then it's going to be a really fun team to watch.
UTRGV head coach Derek Matlock coaches a baseball team that starts its play February 18th with a 3-game series against George Washington. Texas comes to town April 26th. Get your season tickets now, utrgvtickets.com. Coach Matlock, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
The UTRGV Coaches Show rolls on after this from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
In the minute it takes to knock back your drink, spot your new crush, or cheer on the home team, you could do something that really makes a difference. Sign up as an organ donor. In less than a typical timeout, you could sign up to save 8 lives. It sure beats using a minute to mustard that hot dog. Sign up at tosa1.org.
The Rio Grande Valley is growing every day. That's why you need a team you can trust. 2 stations, 2 languages.
Se le pide a cualquier persona con información de...
The most experienced news anchors in the valley.
And Andina Herrera Garza.
The largest weather team keeping you informed in English.
The track front updates forecast.
Y en español.
Te le voy a estar explicando un poco más de eso.
A sports team covering the RGV like no one else.
What this win means.
We're live in the morning, at noon, and in the evenings. Anytime you need us, we're online and on social media too. We do this all in both languages.
We are tracking breaking news.
Nosotros estamos aquí para platicarles cómo va.
Who else can deliver this type of coverage?
Tonight at 10 in the meantime, have a great evening.
No one. Channel 5 News
and Azteca Valle.
Working together for you.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Now hiring awesome crew. Apply at work@canes.com.
I got mine because I'm a former student athlete.
I've got mine because the UTRGV Vaqueros are a hometown team.
I've got mine, Visa.
I've got mine because I'm a proud alumni.
I've got mine.
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 I've got mine. Go Vaqueros.
Get yours. UTRGV basketball season tickets are on sale now. Visit goutrgv.com/tickets to get yours today.
Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh's newest destination spot and a host hotel of UTRGV athletics with the amenities that a frequent long-stay traveler or visiting team in town to take on the V-Nation looks for. The nightlife is amplified with Ignite Lounge, a great way to wrap up a long workday or celebrate a big win. Town Place Suites by Marriott on Trenton in between Business 281 and Sugar Road and minutes away from the excitement of UTRGV. Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh.
Hey, that's old news.
This is the news of the next few years.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I wrote that story.
Wait, you're Henry Miller?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Can we go in and talk about this?
Sure, let's do it.
Welcome back inside North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley for the UTRGV Coaches Show. I'm Jonah Goldberger. We're joined by Coach. Wait a minute, you're not a coach.
Prep volleyball, maybe.
Henry Miller, he's the sports editor of The Monitor. Thanks for joining us.
Jonah, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this since you alerted to me to come down about 2 minutes ago.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for making it so quickly. I know you've mastered teleportation technology.
It's because of the Lexuses.
Yeah.
Or is that Lexi if it's plural?
That's a great question.
Right.
We will investigate this. Maybe we'll get one of your investigative reporters on the case. You're a pretty good investigative reporter yourself.
Thank you.
And you've written a number of stories in recent months about UTRGV's drive to start football. And sure enough, back in November, the UTRGV student body overwhelmingly approved a referendum that, pending UT System Board of Regents approval, lead to the start of football, women's swimming and diving, marching bands, and expanding the Spirit programs. So tell us about what this could mean for the Rio Grande Valley.
Oh, could. I mean, the returns are limitless. I mean, we're talking community engagement with each other, with the university, you know, so it's not just coming to a football game. We're talking the economic building of the valley, you know, the piecing together or the bringing together the valley from one side to the next because of the way y'all have been promoting, you know, Rally the Valley. And that's not just McAllen, Edinburgh, and Mission, but that's the entire valley. So we're looking at something that's encompassing a large area with a lot of people. And what I found very interesting is when I was talking to the people at UTSA, they were saying how, you know, they even know about what Valley Week is for high school football. And he goes, it doesn't matter if it's Valley Week, it doesn't matter if it's the first week of football. The Valley brings as many people as some of the teams here locally for a game in the Alamo Dome or wherever they're coming up here. So there's a lot of interest and a lot of community engagement already. And the hope is here that it brings everything together.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you make about high school football. What could the start of an FCS Division I football program in the Rio Grande Valley mean for local high school football?
Well, I think it brings out a lot more interest, intensity, hope. You know, everybody needs hope. You know, we all need that. In our worst days, you know, I talk to coaches all the time if they don't call in their scores. Like there's a 4-person sports staff. We cover close to 50 schools now, high schools, and it's impossible to get to everything. So we depend on coaches to call in. And I say, look, coach, you have an athlete on your team that has probably done something really well, but just because you lost, they're getting denied that opportunity to have their name in the paper, their headshot or whatever. But now, that one person is probably going to get more exposure because that coach is going to want them to see the opportunity to go to UTRGV to play football there. And just because they get that opportunity, who knows what other opportunities become. I mean, what we're talking about, Jonah, and you guys have done a terrific job of planning this, but what we're talking about is we're talking about a whole nother level in every aspect of the high school sports arena. You know, coaches are going to get behind their kids. They're going to be like, look, we've got a team right here right now. You know, we've got someone who hopes, and whether they go there or whether they, you know, are interested somewhere else, whatever, they've got a team here. And what they said at UTSA again was that, look, if you have a football team at your university, you're somebody. It's huge. He goes, you know, people would know UTSA not because one of our smart, educated students are going for a job in Seattle. They know of UTSA because they just saw us in a bowl game, or they just saw us on ESPN, right? And so that's where they've heard of us, and that's where it's become. He goes, it brings a lot of pride to a community. And so what the potential is it really is limitless. I mean, you'll reach that potential and you'll surpass it again.
So you talk a lot about what football's done for San Antonio, and that's an interesting thing. I know you went up to UTSA for a day and you talked to a lot of people. UTSA started their football program a little over a decade ago, and they have seen incredible success in that time.
They've seen more success than they know what to do with. It's a good problem to have. I mean, economically, they've built buildings, they've built dorms. They went from being a commuter school to more people living on campus. The shops in that area have grown exponentially since they've opened. Obviously, the attendance at football games has been huge. We have a couple of our local football players up there, pioneers, Eddie Marburger, who threw his first touchdown pass. And then Ronnie Gomez from Vela is on their defensive line or offensive line, I believe. So, but what it's done for them, I mean, the planning was key. And what I really found interesting talking to them was the fact that everybody, and we were sitting in different rooms for the most part, so they didn't get to hear what other people, it was almost like they had speeches laid out. They were so in tune with the plan that everything they talked about just flowed. I mean, it was really, really impressive. But the biggest thing they said, and this is what everybody's going to want to know, is we hired Larry Coker. All right, Larry Coker won a national championship, almost 2, just recently, and he was done. They had people like, as we were talking about earlier, Tom Herman applied for that job, but he was a young, up-and-coming guy. They wanted somebody who could walk into somebody's office and say, hey, oh, I know you. Okay, well, write a check. Help support this program that is going to do so much for this community. And we're talking, 500 opportunities between all the different programs?
Yeah.
It's a lot. And that's just direct. That doesn't count whatever indirectly comes from it, So that's impressive. And yeah, I mean, y'all, I applaud y'all. Y'all have taken on a huge task. But with your staff, with Chase, with President Bailey, Dr. Hinojosa, I think y'all have a very comparable idea to what the way they did stuff, that you guys are going to end up doing the same thing, like as far as the success of it. And I expect to see some pretty good growth. Of course, you got to wait a few years.
Sure.
You got a lot to do in a few years. But it's got to be exciting too.
Yeah, you expect football on the field the fall of 2025 here at UTRGV, assuming UT System Board of Regents approval, and that seems like a long way away, but it really isn't. It's really close, and that gives you time. We're about a year out, give or take, from hiring a head coach, and then everything really starts to speed up at that point.
Right. No, it's huge. It's you know, it was really weird is that when we broke the story at themonitor.com, is that it didn't take long, and I showed you during that press conference that day that there was what, 300, 400, 500,000. By the end of the day, we were close to 1 million people reached, probably 700, 800 comments, and out of those 700 or 800 comments, I'd say 70% were positive, 10% were the wayfarers, you know, and then the rest were just people with questions to ask because it stoked interest.
For all the latest from the Monitor, the Valley Morning Star, the Brownsville Herald, and the Mid-Valley Town Crier.
That's right.
Log on to myrgv.com. Henry Miller, he's the sports editor of the Monitor. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, and go UTRGV.
We'll be back to wrap things up from North Park, Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This is the UTRGV Coaches Show.
We all want the best for our families, to love, to laugh, to live a healthy life. At UT Health RGV, we believe every family should have access to the most advanced medical care right here, close to home. With over 100 board-certified doctors at 20 locations valley-wide, with life-saving procedures and treatments that keep you and your family healthy, UT Health RGV is here for you. High-quality care for every patient, for every family. Find your way to the best care at uthealthrgv.org.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
Support. Some call it the foundation of success. Joining the V Club assists in the success of our student athletes. Preparing our student athletes for excellence in life. Thanks for watching this edition of the UTRGV Coaches Show. We'll be back with you every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. with a special re-air Sundays at 1:30 on Somos El Valle, channel 5.3, cable 1241. Missed an episode? Want to watch this one again? And check out archived episodes on our YouTube channel at goutrgv.com/coaches show. Big thanks to UTRGV baseball head coach Derek Matlock and Henry Miller, the sports editor of the Monitor, for joining us this week. Next week, we'll be joined by UTRGV basketball coaches Matt Figger and Lane Lord. But for now, this is Jonah Goldberg saying so long from North Park, Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This has been the UTRGV Coaches Show. Get your V's up.